everybody, Jerry Bellini here for my Arts and Parts, and today I wanted to share with you a journal that I made from a stream that I watched on YouTube from Dede Willingham, otherwise known as Inkwell. And she is doing these really awesome journals, and she's calling them mini magazine mind mapping prompt inspiring something. I can't remember the whole name, but it's this long name and it's really funny, and you need to go over to her channel and watch her videos. I will leave a link in my description box below, but it seems like so many people are getting on the bandwagon doing these, so that's what you're looking at on my table here. And let me just explain to you real quick, and you should definitely go over and watch her video to get all the finer points. But basically what she's doing is she's taking some kind of a really interesting magazine, something that has nice images, and she's cutting them in half. You can see this is, well, maybe you can't see. This is a magazine cut in half. And what I did, the reason why I can't show you the top and the bottom is I just got back from a vacation in Lancaster, Pennsylvania with Cindy Signs Utter. And if you don't know her, she has a channel, Artsy Endeavors, and a Facebook page. Anyway, I have a collection of these Belle and Noir magazines, and I love them. And I always go back and look at them over and over again. There's mixed media, lots of mixed media, wonderful things in here. It's got a lot of great images. So long story is, I had these magazines in my camper, and I was showing Cindy, you know, that I was doing Dede's mini magazine mind mapping journal, and she got all excited. So I took a couple of my magazines and I cut them in half, and we traded. So I've got the top of this one, she's got the bottom of this one, and so forth. And so I have 4 magazines here, and I thought that was a really fun way to share the magazines. And you know, she'll have some of mine, I have some of hers, and anyway, I thought it was neat. So next point I wanted to make with what I did with mine was that I glued them together. So you glue the back cover of one to the front cover of the next one. And oh, by the way, I had these cut at Staples so that they cut them really nice. This one I actually cut myself with an X-Acto knife. It did take a really long time. They're not exactly perfect. And when I was finished cutting them, I actually took an emery board, and because there was a lot of rough edges, and I kind of sanded down some of the really bigger chunks, you might say. And so I'm real pleased with you know, the way it fits together. Okay, so back to this. So you glue these two together. I used Yes Paste. Now you're going to see different people are doing videos on how they're doing their mind mapping mini magazines. We're all seem to be using different kinds of glues, you know, use what you have kind of thing. I love Yes Paste. It is such a nice, thick, gummy glue, and that's what I used to glue the covers together. All right, once I glued the covers together, I actually smeared, now you have to let that dry overnight. I actually smeared a lot of Yes Paste here on the spines, and you know, just really got a lot of glue going on in there. Smoothed it down, pardon me. Smoothed it down, pushed it in, left it dry. Okay, left it dry. Now that's when I decided to do the cover. All right, meanwhile I was going in and I was painting out some of the text, because that's what Dede does. She paints out some of the text, and she says when you work in this book, you work in the front, you work in the back, you work in the middle, you work in the middle, you work in the front and the back. Don't go from front to back, because you'll warp your magazine, your book, and you definitely will. So, you know, mine is nice and straight. I've just started painting some of the pages. I haven't really done any artwork in it yet. So now, fast forward this is all glued together, and it looks like a nice big thick brick. Now I went and I decided to put the cover on. I did my cover a little bit differently. Everybody seems to be doing their stuff a little bit differently, which I think is awesome. She's inspiring us. And then we're taking it and going, you know, and doing our own thing. I love that. I felt that some of the pages in the beginning of my book, each book, needed a little reinforcement. The pages seem to be, they look like they were coming out. Now, you could wait until they come out and then put some tape down. I chose to just kind of put some tape. It was in my camper. This is all I had, was this black tape. This is tape, by the way. And so it's the wide, it's like duct tape, black duct tape. So I did put it there. I'm glad I did. I can paint. I think I can paint over it. I'm not really sure, but to tell you the truth, I don't care. I'm going to have some fun with this. Now, fast forward, I'm home, and last night I was going back through and putting a little more paint on some of the pages. I do a little bit at a time because I'm sitting in a comfy chair and I let this stuff dry. You could use a heat gun. It's recommended to do that. Then you could keep going, but I was lazy sitting in the chair, so I would just paint, and then I would sit there and watch a movie, and then I would do another page. So the other thing I did is I had some very narrow masking tape, and so I went in and firmed up, you probably can't even see it, firmed up some of the pages that looked like they were going to fall out with this narrow masking tape. I just felt like I wanted to do that. So I looked at the spots where I thought would be a problem. Here is where this is like a back and a front to a magazine. So I put some tape in there. This is like more of a clothy masking tape. I think it's called artist tape. That's what it is. So you can see I just did it randomly. And I'm not going to overthink it. I just wanted to share with you that that's what I did. So now to put the cover on, I had some old coffee dyed brown paper bag, you might say. I put a piece of that on the top. So let's just forget about this for a second. And this is not canvas, this is denim. This is like an ecru denim that I bought at, say, Joann's or something. You could use jeans. You could use anything. But Dede did say it was important to put a cover on to hold the spine a little bit more intact. Okay, so I felt that this would really hold it nicely. The Mary Atelier, I think I said that right, Mary Abrams, you got to go watch her video because hers is awesome. She used cheesecloth, and you just go watch her video. It was really cool. Her book is never going to come apart, and she made a bigger book, and it's huge, and I giggled while I was watching it. So back to this. It's brown paper. So I put it on. I covered. I came around. Make sure I'm in frame. I came around a little bit. I used my Yes paste. And folded it over, and then this piece is actually another piece of paper that I put on top. I did the same exact thing. Sorry about that. I did the same exact thing on this back cover. So I did that first, and then the very last thing I did was I took a piece of this denim and I saturated it. Is that a word? Saturated? Yeah, I saturated it with the Yes paste and smeared Yes paste all over this part of the book, and put it on, pressed it on, and left it sit overnight. Okay, you got to have a lot of drying time with this project. You have to leave it sit overnight if you don't want it to fall apart. And I'm really excited about starting to work in this book. And I did go on the back and I whited out some of the text in the back. I'm using this one actually isn't Belle et Noire, but it is a Stampington magazine, and I can't even remember what it is. But you see, I went in and I put some different colored paints on the text. And I'm not just using white paint, I'm using all kinds of paint. And I am using either a credit card, sometimes I'm using my fingers, sometimes I am using one of these scrapey spatulas. I do a couple different things just because I get bored easily. But you can see there's a ton of graphics, and I don't care if you can still see the words a little bit. I think that's adds to the interest, and I do like the grungy look. Dede likes that look, she mentioned as well. And you can see I didn't get that far. So I probably jumped around, and I did some in the middle as well, which I won't bore you with. So there you have it. Oh, I did leave this particular magazine that I have, does have some, what do you call it, scrapbooking paper in there that, see, it's a Somerset Studio magazine. And I left the scrapbooking paper, so it's a little thicker, and of course, here it is. I was going to say, of course I can't find it. I left the scrapbooking paper in. It's got a perforation here. You can't see it on camera, but you could, you can pull it out if you want. I like it. I'm going to leave it. Okay, one more thing I wanted to tell you was the front page of a magazine is generally glued down a little bit. So the cover is generally glued to this page. I hope that made sense. Just a little bit. And then it starts to, open up wide. So I did take these two pages and I did glue them together in my journal. I did. All right, and the last thing I wanted to share with you is that I'm not really sure what I'm going to use my book for. I'm thinking prompts, meaning I'm going to try to put things in here that might inspire me. Like in the beginning of Dede's video, she tells you in order to get your creative juices flowing, and that's where the mind mapping comes in. She has the words what, why, when, how, where. I think there's 6 or 7 of them in the front of her book to ask yourself when you're doing something, and that will help you, with your thoughts, with your creative process. So I'm probably going to do something along those lines in mine. Meaning I am going to put those words here, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with the inside of mine, but I know I'm going to let the colors inspire me. When I do the page, maybe I'll put a quote, maybe just a quote on something. I don't know. It's going to be something that when I look at it, it's going to encourage me to create. That's my hope and dreams for this magazine. And also, I am going to put some kind of a picture on the cover, and I might paint this too. So who knows, it's going to evolve, and I will keep you posted. And I hope that if you do one of these books that you'll actually make a video and share your technique and how you're putting it together, because it's very inspiring to see each other's projects and how we do them. That's it. I hope you have a blessed day full of love and art, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.